Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled The 2010 Season That Exposed College Football. In 2010, college football didn't evolve, it lost control. Florida, USC, Penn State, Wisconsin, Iowa, Utah, BYU, West Virginia, 8 programs gone. No replacement dynasties, no safety nets, no auto bids, just a question the sport had avoided for decades. If we remove protection, who actually survives? This is the season that answered it, the off-season that broke the map. The collapse wasn't gradual, it was administrative. 8 programs dissolved overnight, taking with them head coaches, quarterbacks, running backs, and entire recruiting ecosystems. And suddenly, every remaining school had to answer the same question: are we good, or were we just insulated? Coaches scattered, stars redistributed, conference offices scrambled to keep television contracts intact. And then, the first panic move. Gary Patterson walks away from TCU. Not because TCU is failing, but because stability itself feels fragile. TCU responds with a nostalgia hire that makes sense emotionally and fails strategically. That moment matters because it becomes the quiet warning sign. In this sport, replacing excellence with familiarity is how you lose relevance. Preseason. Fear replaces confidence. The preseason rankings look normal until you stare too long. No Florida, no USC, no Penn State. Instead, the top is crowded by other teams. Alabama sits at number 1, not because it's perfect, because someone has to be. Oklahoma gets Tim Tebow and instantly becomes unavoidable television. Notre Dame doesn't look dominant, just efficient, which somehow feels more dangerous. Boise State is no longer the underdog, they're the standard. And for the first time, everyone understands something terrifying. There are no protected exits anymore. The regular season. Style points replace wins. The 2010 regular season doesn't reward survival, it rewards tone. Alabama keeps winning, but every game is graded like a performance review. Oklahoma becomes a traveling spectacle. Tebow doesn't just win games, he erases doubt. Notre Dame stops losing games it used to lose. No miracles, no meltdowns, just control. Michigan under Pete Carroll doesn't look finished. It looks alive, which is worse for everyone else. Boise State wins every game knowing that one sloppy quarter could end the entire experiment. And across the country, conference identities start cracking. The SEC feels deep but anxious. The Big Ten feels volatile. The Pac-10 feels stylish and brittle. By November, it's clear. This season isn't building toward a champion, it's building toward judgment. The playoff, round 1, removes illusions. This universe also introduces a 16-team playoff, all coming from at-large bids and zero excuses. Alabama handles Georgia Tech with power winning over creativity. Nebraska out-muscles Stanford, and suddenly smart football is not enough. Texas survives Arkansas, but nobody feels convinced. Michigan shocks Oregon, and the word swagger enters serious conversations again. Ohio State beats Auburn, but nobody applauds. Miami stuns Boise State, and overnight the sympathy era ends. Notre Dame beats LSU without drama, and that might be the most important win of the round. Oklahoma rolls Virginia Tech, and the tournament finally feels centered. By the end of round 1, the message is brutal and clear. The playoff doesn't reward identity, it rewards control. Quarterfinals, the sport turns on itself. Nebraska pushes Alabama to the edge, and even in defeat, changes perception. Michigan knocks out Texas, and suddenly one hire reshapes a decade of assumptions. Miami overwhelms Ohio State emotionally, and the safe model starts looking obsolete. Oklahoma ends Notre Dame's run without cruelty, just inevitability. Now the bracket feels wrong in the best way. No symmetry, no narratives holding hands, just pressure. Semifinals. Myths leave quietly. Michigan versus Alabama doesn't look like a fluke. It looks intentional. Michigan wins, not with chaos, but with discipline and disruption. Across the bracket, Oklahoma handles Miami without letting emotion breathe. And suddenly, the championship matchup nobody predicted becomes unavoidable. Michigan versus Oklahoma. Not history versus history, momentum versus inevitability. The title game. The championship isn't close, and that matters. Oklahoma doesn't just beat Michigan, it clarifies the entire season. This wasn't about tradition, it wasn't about conference depth, it was not about perception. It was about whether a program could absorb chaos and still perform. Oklahoma could, and that's how they win the championship. Who actually won the season? Oklahoma wins the title, but Michigan wins the future. Notre Dame wins stability, Nebraska wins credibility, the Big 12 wins leverage, the Big 10 wins chaos power, and Boise State loses something it can never get back, the benefit of the doubt. The Pac-10 loses its shield, the SEC loses its invincibility, and college football loses the illusion that everyone belongs at the same table. The 2010 season didn't crown a champion, it removed excuses. And once a sport does that, there's no going back. And if you enjoyed this kind of alternate history where institutions are tested instead of protected, hit like. If you disagree with who survived, comment, because that argument is the point. And if you want more college football universes that ask uncomfortable questions, subscribe, because the next time things get even stranger.